Good morning. Thank you, Alain. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to express myself about my experience as a business owner. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself a little bit so that you know a little bit more about me. So my name is Nicolas Servais. As I said, I'm Belgian. I'm 43 years old. I'm married with two kids. And I've always worked in the hotel and restaurant industry. After my studies in hotel management, I've traveled a bit and worked for large hotel groups. And back in Belgium, I did open up my first restaurant 15 years ago. A couple of years back, with my wife, we had a business in Belgium, and at some point we had the opportunity to either move to the US and go for that big experience of once in a lifetime experience, or staying in Belgium and develop our business. And obviously, we decided to go for the experience, the first option. So we decided to move to California 4 years ago with our two kids. Actually, we made the move to take over the only 100% Belgian restaurant on the West Coast, the restaurant Brussels Bistro in Laguna Beach. And actually, we are now running the restaurant with my best friend, who is also my business partner, and he lives here for 14 years. So he did open up the restaurant, and I just joined him about 4 years ago. Regarding the move to California, that was a big question when we were in Belgium, but we decided to do it, and there is no regret. It was a big move, but a good move, because of the new culture, the new business, new family life, big changes and challenges. But like I said, it was a really good move. The goal when moving here was to develop Brussels Bistro and open up several stores. But first, I had to learn a little bit more about the American market, because it was completely new for me. And I wanted to get more familiar with the American customer, the American expectations, and most of all, the hyper dynamic American restaurant industry, which is completely different than the one we have in Belgium. And I would say after a bit more than a year of adaptation, we started to look for a second location for Brussels Bistro, as we wanted to expand. And because location is key, and especially in the restaurant business, it took us a bit more than a year to find the perfect spot to open up the second location for Brussels Bistro. And as Alain just mentioned, we did open it up in Saint-Cloud, and we opened the restaurant in February 2019. Brussels Bistro is a well-established brand because it exists for 14 years now in Laguna, and the restaurant in Laguna is pretty smooth operation now. We have great staff that are working with us for 5, 6, 10 to 12 years, and we also have quite great local customers, so it makes it easier. For Brussels Bistro in Saint-Cloud, I would say a little bit different, funny, interesting, but also exhausting 2 years of full of challenges. So starting from dealing with the city to get a permit to open the restaurant, dealing with the landlord to get a good lease and a long lease, dealing with the construction and the contractors. It is the same than in Belgium. If you plan to open it up in 2 months, it's going to take 6. So it was exactly the same. Dealing with the budget, with staffing, with training, and so on and so on. Well, I would say a regular thing when you open up a business. And as a business owner, challenges are part of our daily life, right? And running a 2-location restaurant is pretty challenging. But facing a pandemic like we do now, I would say that's what I call challenge. And for us, everything went super fast. We had 2 busy restaurants, and from one day to another, you have to close them down as nobody can go out anymore because, well, obviously because of the stay-at-home order. And at that point, we had to act. We had to act super fast. We had to find ideas and even more creative than usual, just because we wanted to survive. And in a week of time, we had to completely change our vision and our job. We were not a restaurant anymore. We were an online shop. So we had to close, well, and as everybody knows, we had to close our restaurant on March 16, and it was disastrous, but we had to lay off our 70 employees in both locations. And on March 19th, so 3 days after, we started to sell our sous vide and ready and oven ready meals online for pickup and delivery. And actually, we came up with that idea of sous vide and ready to eat meals pretty quick because we worked with the sous vide process in the kitchen for years. And we thought it was, on one hand, a good opportunity for new business because people had to stay home. We also wanted to offer them a little bit of help, and we wanted to offer a product that was a little bit different than what was on the market at that time. And thanks to the sous vide process, we could do that. We could, on one hand, add them out, and on the other side, offer something different that was on the market, but a better quality or a better experience. Once again, thanks to the sous vide process. It is a totally different business, and for us, it is still new. But we already see that some things don't change. And especially in the food business and the food industry, people have to, if you want to be successful, people have to live an experience, but that experience has to be consistent. Once again, sous vide and by the way we work, it helps out to create a long-lasting relationship with our guests. So in less than a week, we created an online shop. So we had 2 physical locations. And in 1 week, we had no more physical location, but just a shop online. And we've worked on updating our processes and recipes to be able to sell all our products to our guests online. So basically in 1 week, what we've done is we've worked on our cooking processes. We worked on safety procedure before we could bring our staff back to work. We worked on safety procedures for our vendors and all the delivery guys that were coming to the restaurant. We had to work on safety procedures for our guests during pickup and deliveries because we wanted everyone to be safe. We have worked on communicate on procedures for people on how they had to reheat their meal at home because we are not, especially in the US, a lot of people are going out for dinner, and it was a completely different and new product. So we had to educate them a little bit and just have them out while they were in their kitchen eating up the food. We also worked on a promotion campaign for social media, but also emailing, as the product was completely different. And even if we had a pretty good network of our clientele that was already following us, we had to work a little bit just to try to reach more people out. And we also worked on an internal safety program in case anyone got infected. For example, with my partner, we try to not see each other too often so that if anything happens, either one of us can take over and just proceed with business, I would say, as usual, if we can say it like that. And as you can imagine, our life as a business owner has changed, and our daily routine has changed. But one thing remains: we need to constantly be creative. We constantly need, and in this particular case, create new meals, new products if we want our guests to shop online regularly. We constantly need to find new options to expand our network and to try to enter in as many homes as possible because our business has changed a little bit. We currently sell a bit more than 60 products online, and we'll have more to come. We'll sold thousands of meals in 7 or 8 weeks. So it is pretty good, and we are pretty happy. And we are pretty sure there is a future for it because habits are going to change, and they've changed already. That for sure. Of course, we want to stay with the restaurant business, but we also want to plan as much as we can for the future. And when expanding, we try to expand as much as we can, but also step by step because we want to grow on a steady and strong pace. And by the way, we're gonna start delivering in Los Angeles next week. So if interested, just go on brusselsbistro.com. And now it's a little bit different because, and as you did mention, everybody is talking about reopening businesses starting again. And of course, we start thinking about it. But for us, and especially in the restaurant industry, there is a big hurdle because we are now talking about reopening businesses, but at 50% occupancy load. It's not going to work because, well, for a different reason, but the profit margin in the restaurant business are pretty small. And of course, we want to comply with social distancing. Of course, if we open, we want to be able to accommodate all guests safely, and for not only our guests, but our staff and employees. So it is really important, but there is no way you can run a restaurant properly if you can only open for 50% of the guests. If you can't run 3 full shifts on a Saturday night, there is no way you can be profitable. So once again, we'll have to be creative, inventive, and that's part of our job as an entrepreneur. You have to be inventive and creative. But this time, and I think we want to take a little bit of time just to see how it goes before reopening. I hear a lot of people that are excited to reopen and they want to do it as fast as they can. We are not going to go that route because we want to make sure that, first of all, we see how it goes. We want to see how people react when restaurants reopen. And because it's going to be a long-lasting and constantly evolving situation, we just want to make sure we take the right decision for the business, but also for the people we are working with and for the safety of everyone. I would conclude by saying that from a business standpoint, we have experienced things that we probably won't live for years now. But even with all of that, we are still super enthusiastic. We still have the energy to fight for our business, but also to fight for our people, because without our people and employees, we would just be nothing. So it is also important to mention that, well, we are business owners, but we couldn't process and proceed with our business if we didn't get the help of all our employees. So I just wanted to mention it. I don't know how future will be. We'll figure out, and we'll find a way of dealing with it. And probably big challenges, long challenges. I don't know, but we want to stay optimistic, and I'm sure we're gonna go through it. So that was basically my introduction. Thank you for listening, and Alain, I'll give you the word.
Thank you very much, Nicolas, for sharing that amazing experience. This is always great to learn from each other experiences. We have a few questions. The first one from Eric is relative to the main differences in operating a restaurant in the US versus in Belgium or in Europe.
Differences. Just try to summarize it. The way people are going out to eat at the restaurant in Europe and in the US is completely different. For example, in Belgium or in Europe, you go out to the restaurant to celebrate. Here in the US, people are going out to the restaurant. It is not negative. I don't say it negatively, but it's completely different. Expectations are really high from American customers, and more and more, and they want to live an experience, and they just want to live something different. Of course, food always and service have to be good, but they want to live an experience. So that's what people are looking for right now, I think. The the other main difference is the way we work with people. Because of the tips here in the US, the way you manage staff, it's completely different. It's like everyone having his little business inside the business. So it's pretty dynamic because everybody is happy when the restaurant is busy. Sometimes in Belgium, when the restaurant is not busy, well, it's better. It's you get paid the same thing, but you just have to work a little bit less. Here in the US, everybody's excited when the restaurant is busy. So that's a big difference, and that helps a lot to manage the restaurant. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yes, it does. And I have another question that is from Pierre, who is asking the reason why you waited 10 years for launching your second restaurant.
So the first owner of Brussels Bistro launched it in 2004, and then it was taken over by different owners. Till my business partner, who is my best friend, came here. That was 14 years ago. It was with two different partners, and he asked me for, I don't know, during 10 years, you have to come and we're going to take over Brussels Bistro together. And so it was constantly asking for it. But I had my business in Belgium, and then my mother got sick, so it was not the appropriate time to move. And as I said, when I explained our experience six years ago, I think with my wife, we were in the kitchen, just wondering, should we stay in Belgium or move to California to take over the business? Then decided to move in. So that's why it took a little bit of time to expand the business. Right, 4 years ago, and 1 year adaptation, and then 2 years to look for the perfect spot, and then did it. So that's why it took so
long. I have another questions relative to your operations when the issue is over. Will you keep both the online shop and the current setting? Will you reopen the physical location? What's your plan?
Well, we would like to keep everything. We'll see how it goes, because it's going to be a fight with the landlords. I think in the first time, one of the two stores it's already solved, and we found a solution to go through it. The other one, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. And as I said, if we don't get help from the landlord, there is no way we can run the operation at 50%. And the problem is, we don't. If we knew now that it would be for, I don't know, 2 weeks, 2 months, you can go work around it. But because we don't know, it is totally impossible. So we want to open the business, but we're going to take our time, and for sure we're going to keep on doing our online. Well, we're going to keep to sell online, and that's what's going to help us to go through it, because I don't think we're going to open up for lunch, because it was already not the best part of the business. So we're going to keep on working, delivering orders during the day, and then opening the restaurants. So yes, we want to keep both location and keep the online business.
And the last question, very interesting question relative to your competition that is also Ghost Kitchen, the one that only do delivery with no physical address and none of your cost. How do you see that?
We also, since after 2-3 weeks, we knew that it was going to be different, but also because we love what we do, and sharing the part of our culture, and the food through the beer, but also interacting with the guests. We want to keep our physical location, and of course we think about margin and profit margins, and we still think that there is a way of combining everything all together. We don't have the exact and the best recipe yet, but I'm sure it's going to come, and it's going to come as things are moving forward, and when we'll see how people are going to react. But I'm sure there was a way to succeed, I think.
Thank you, Nicolas.
You're welcome.
And I think we will let you also soon go back to the kitchen for your service.
Yes.
We do appreciate your time. We will continue now with Jeff that is giving us some insights for reopening businesses, the priority of LA County and the city of Los Angeles, as well as some ways to reduce losses, which is significantly important right now. So Jeff, you have the floor.